Hi folks, welcome to another Boats and Bits. Bit of a strange one, I'm actually out on the water. This was taken earlier in the year, gathered some footage. This particular bit was through the Strangford Narrows, as we're heading just sort of port of ferry on our left here. This was in a Fulmar 32, westerly Fulmar 32, and we were moving from Ringhaddy to Bangor, so it was a transfer. The owner basically wanted to get it up there, so he lived closer, so he could get a bit of work done to it and things like that there. Ringhaddy's a swinging mooring, whereas the Bangor's the marina, so you can get a lot more access to facilities and whatnot. Strangford Loch, for anyone that doesn't know, is an area of outstanding beauty. It's a UNESCO Global Geopark. It's an area of special scientific interest, and it's one of the most richly biodiverse regions in Europe. It's also the largest sea loch in the UK. The Narrows, which we're travelling down here now, it's actually quite extreme tides. Obviously, when you sort of get a big loch and it's this, 150 kilometers squared, going through at its narrowest half a kilometre wide. So when you've got all that water coming in and out at tides, there's obviously a strong tidal force with the narrow bit. So I think the tidal flow either way at the sort of peak is 8 to 10 knots from what I've read. So you kind of don't want to be going there. You want to kind of be hitting it at the sort of the crossover. So at this we were just sort of punching into the tide a bit, so we were kind of fighting it just before it turned, saying it was pulling us back out again. Obviously I'd never had any experience of this before, so it was good to have some expert on board keep me right. Well, it's obviously his boat, you keep yourself right, but yeah, it was a good calm day as well. So I think you can get sort of some weird wonderful things going on if you're sort of hitting this here with high winds and all the rest and the tide, so you get some really crazy effects. You can kind of see some of the effects there though in the water. You can kind of see in front of us there some of the wee whirlpools and things as we're coming up to Port of Ferry on the left here. So yeah, we were punching through here at the minute. Now thankfully there wasn't much wind, so and the tide wasn't too bad at this stage, so we were able to get through nicely. As you can see, this is just Port of Ferry on the left hand side here. And we're coming up to sort of where the Strangford ferry crosses. You can also see some wee knocking things there. See, there was a few seals flying about us as well, and the alarms were going off on the boat. So there's Port of Ferry. And that's where the Strangford ferry crosses. So this is just before you get to the really narrow bit. And you can so you can kind of see the Strangford ferry here now. This ferry has a long history, and it crosses here quite a few times a day. From my research, the ferry has been, or a ferry has been in operation since 1176. John de Courcy had one as the oldest recorded setting back in 1180, making it probably the oldest one in the world. But there has been obviously numerous ones, but I'll tell you what, see whenever this thing's coming flying at you and you're trying to avoid it, it's definitely a wee bit nerve-wracking until you get to the right side of it. So yeah, it's flying on past now here behind us. So yeah, the pressure was kind of off us at this stage, but we were listening to the radio and whatnot and just making sure we weren't going to get shouted at. But yes, as you can see, it's flying across at some speed. It's interesting to see it whenever the tides are going full tilt and she's kind of ferry glides with the motor's full whack. As you can imagine, sort of 8 knots. The boat needs to be sort of firing 8 knots just to keep sort of going side roads. So yes, there's a lot of history around Strangford. Couple of famous people. St Patrick sailed through this bit in 432 in his sort of original visit. Also, a lot of Vikings would have come in here over the years. One ended up getting buried here, the King of Norway, Magnus Barelegs. So there's a lot of interesting history if you want to go and check it out. The next bit we're going to come up to is the bar. So that's basically when we exit the loch. So we're out sort of the actual mouth, where the Strangford hits the sea. There's a couple of interesting things here. Firstly, is the sort of wind direction and stuff like that there, and the prevailing winds. So you kind of get the very huge short seas, sort of, if you get the southwesterlies. Secondly, is the fact that Strangford gets a lot of fresh water, and obviously the sea's very salty, so you get this kind of less salty water hitting the more salty water, so that also can cause some interesting effects. But yes, you can sort of see the bumpiness here. This was quite a calm day, so it wasn't too bad for all intents and purposes, so we were quite glad to get out, and we made it back up to Bangor. Alright, thank you for watching, folks. Hope you see us all again soon. Thank you. Bye.